That's a little bit better.
Oh yeah, it's not that bad.
Maybe good. Good, good. I think we're good. Okay. Well, to all college football fans, the year's finally coming to an end. After a great season, obviously the 12 team playoffs, the first year we got to see this new format, new teams in the Big Ten, new teams in the SEC. Honestly, it was a really entertaining year, and got more football. So instead of the season ending January 8th or like the second week in January, they got to expand it to the fourth week in January, third week in January, which is really cool. I mean, who doesn't love an extended year of football? Come on now. Um, and still, the season went by so fast. I mean, I remember, feels like it was yesterday when we were preparing for Florida State and Georgia Tech to kick off in Ireland, and then the very next week, um, me going to the Ohio State Akron game to sit in the student section and kick off the year. Like, season just flew by. But we got one really, really important game. So it's the only thing that matters is tonight. Nothing in the past matters for both teams. I mean, this playoff run's been awesome. We've been dominating teams, except for Texas was a little close game, but none of that stuff matters anymore. Notre Dame struggled with a lot of their games. They haven't really played a gauntlet of a schedule or a playoff schedule like Ohio State has. None of that matters. The product you put out on the field tonight is the only thing that matters. One game season, both teams know that. Both teams understand how important it is, and that's where I think we have to, as Ohio State fans, um, come together and realize we may be a little too overconfident for my liking. I mean, people are predicting this to go the Georgia TCU route, where it's just a boat. Which could it happen? Absolutely. I wouldn't be shocked if it happened. However, I think with the stakes that are on the line with this game, don't be surprised if it's closer than what people think. Kind of like the same thing for the Texas game. A lot of people, myself included, thought that was going to be a boat race of a game. Turned out it was should have been a tied ball game, but obviously that goal line stand was the game winner. So same could happen tonight. Just be prepared for it. That's why I'm trying not to get overly confident. But best thing is I watched the film. Um, I've watched Ohio State on all 22 film every single game. So we already have a good understanding of what they are. And then Notre Dame, I just got done watching the Notre Dame Penn State all 22 film. I feel really, really good going into this game. Reason being, I mean, Penn State was able to run the ball at will on Notre Dame, and then Notre Dame's offense has been a struggle. Like they've struggled all year. Riley Leonard, the fact that Emmanuel Achu said that Riley Leonard was better than Will Howard, that Will Howard's the worst quarterback in the playoffs, and then Malik Zaire came out and said that Riley Leonard's a better quarterback than Will Howard. I don't know what the fuck they're watching, but good God, is that's never been further from the truth. Riley Leonard arguably is the worst quarterback out of all 12 teams that made the playoffs. Most of his passes are just checkdowns. He's a really good athlete. If he escapes the pocket, yes, he can be a problem. But as a pure passer, average at best. So that's going to be an area where Ohio State has the advantage is their defense. If we just spy Riley Leonard, keep him in the pocket, and kind of do what we did against Oregon, that's what that's his major concern is his legs. If we're able to shut that down, keep him in the pocket, and make him pass the ball. I don't know if Notre Dame scores more than 14 points in this game. There's no reason they should. Mitchell Evans, their tight end's a really good player. Their run game with Jeremiah Love and the other backs, really, really good. Their receivers are I think we could probably run man all day and we would be okay. And then defensively, they run a lot of man coverage. A lot of man coverage. That's where these receivers today, I think our receivers can eat. Jeremiah Smith, Emeka, Carnell, if you run man on them, I think this is where Ohio State has the upper hand. Um, Tennessee ran man, Oregon ran man, Texas ran a lot of zones and some brackets, and kind of shut our pass game down a little bit. And I think Notre Dame might have to convert to that, but it's also at the same time you don't change your identity. It's worked for them all year. I would assume they're going to go into this game and try man. I mean, they might not run it all game, but they're definitely going to try a lot more man than like Texas did. And then their defensive line, Howard Cross, is a problem. He's not really that great in the run game. However, as a pass rusher, he is really, really good. And then their secondary, Xavier Watts, is a really good safety. Best safety in America, like some people have argued, I don't see it. I mean, I think Caleb Downs is night and day better. But he's still a really, really solid player. And then obviously they haven't had Benjamin Morrison pretty much all year, which sucks because he's a first round corner in my eyes. I think Benjamin Morrison's a really, really good player. And then their linebackers are decent. They're not anything to be afraid of, but they're not bad players at all. So gonna be interesting to see if Notre Dame sticks to the man coverage that like they have all year. And I think if they do, that's something Ohio State needs to take advantage of. They need to take shots, get our receivers involved early. And then if we're able to run the ball like Penn State did against them, I think our offense can really run away with this game and hang 35 points minimum on Notre Dame's defense. We'll have to see. I mean, Al Golden's a really good defensive coordinator. So, and I think if Notre Dame does win this game, their defense is going to have to step up and make big plays and really shut this Ohio State offense down. And I think if they do that, they absolutely have a chance to win this game. And then moving on to Notre Dame's offense. There's nothing that, Mitchell Evans is a really good player, and then their run game with Jeremiah Love's really good. Other than that, they don't worry me. Their offensive line isn't really that good. I think our defensive line will have a feast tonight. And I think Alex Knapp is ruled out of this game, so they're starting left tackle. Yeah, they're starting left tackle. Their true freshman is out for this game, so they're dealing with some injuries. And then that other defensive tackle that was not Howard Cross, but I forget his name. Where's number 99? Injuries have not played into their hand. However, for Ohio State, you could argue the same thing with Seth McLaughlin and Josh Simmons going down. But it's hard not to look back at the previous games because you can't do it. Nothing matters from the past, like I said before. And the only thing that matters is tonight. But I just don't see a world unless if it's a major coaching issue like that. That's the only reason I think Ohio State can lose this game is if the coaches fuck it up. If Ryan Day plays passive, like he almost did against Texas, and then obviously how he did against Michigan and then Nebraska. If we come out with that game plan, look out because Notre Dame can absolutely win this game. But I think if they come out bombs over Baghdad and just really play aggressive ball, I think. I don't have a concern that we lose this game, which I don't see why we would convert into our old passive ways because there's no reason to. No reason to. There's one game left. Leave everything out on the field. And I don't see that happening. I don't see Ryan Day, curling up in a shell and just playing a passive game. I don't see it happening. And I pray and hope it doesn't happen because that's been our key to success is the aggressiveness. And that's how we jump out early in these playoff games is playing aggressive and scoring on our first offensive drive. We've done that in every single playoff game. The first drive against Tennessee, we scored. First drive against Oregon, we scored. First drive against Texas, we scored. Now we didn't score until the 30 seconds left in the first half, but still, I think getting out and on top early and scoring is huge and so important. So score on the first drive, please, and play aggressive. which again, I have full faith they're going to do all of those things. And I just don't see a reason other than coaching why we lose this game. And then like barring some tragic injury that happens. I don't see a game that, and knock on wood, that doesn't happen. I don't see a reason why we lose this game. But I mean, they got to continue to play. They have to play aggressive. They have to play lights out, regardless if they're up by 30, down by 30. I just play your best ball, play lights out, do your job. And I mean, there's really no matchup that I have any worries about other than maybe Sonny Styles. I know he got cooked in that Texas game a little bit. He's been inconsistent all year. I mean, he's a really good player, but just obviously you can tell he's never played linebacker in the previous the past years. He's out of position on some plays. So, I mean, if you're Notre Dame, that's about the only thing I can see you take a shot at is Sonny Styles. Maybe match him up like on the wheel routes with Jeremiah Love, although I think Jim Knowles probably fixed that, considering it happened twice. And, I mean, because the receiver matchups with Ohio State's corners, I think Ohio State can play man zero coverage all day, and I think we'd be fine. I think our defensive line matches up great with their O-line, and Mitchell Evans, actually. I think that's the other concern is their tight end, Mitchell Evans, maybe can give us some fits. And again, that falls on Sonny, maybe the safeties. But Caleb Downs is a really good – I mean, if we match up Caleb on Mitchell Evans, and even Sonny, his freshman year, went up against Brock Bowers. So, I mean, Sonny against tight ends it's not a horrible matchup. It's not anything I'm going to be like freaking out about. So, I just don't see a world that Notre Dame can win this game unless if it's a major coaching problem and the coaches fuck this up. Other than that, I think Ohio State can be your national champs this year. And I hope this all comes true, because what they've shown us throughout this playoff run, they've had such a gauntlet of a playoff bracket. And I think if Notre Dame were to go through our schedule in the playoffs, they probably drop 2 out of 3 of those games. I mean, I think they lose to Oregon, they lose to Texas, they probably lose to Tennessee, they probably lose all 3. And then if you look at like Notre Dame's schedule, they haven't really been tested too much. Indiana, we've played and beat. Georgia without Carson Beck, and Georgia's been shaky all year. And then Penn State, which we've also played and beat. And again, nothing in the past matters, but it's at least something to give if you're an Ohio State fan that's really worrying about this game. Give you a little bit of hope, because we've been battle tested. We played better teams than Notre Dame. Notre Dame, this is going to be the best team they play all year, the best wide receiver core they play all year, the best offense they played all year, the best defense they played all year. This is going to be the best team that Notre Dame's ever faced. And we got to prove that we're the best team too. I mean, it's not like we can just go out there and say, hey, we're the best and half-ass it. I mean, that's obviously not going to work. So the only worry I have is just don't come out with a passive game plan, and we will walk away with this game. So I'm going to get off here. Going to get ready for this game and just really soak in the day. So appreciate you guys for tuning in. Go Bucks. And I'll do a score prediction. I think Ohio State wins this game 35. I'll go 35-13. Ohio State wins this game. So, and I'm pretty sure we'll cover if that's the case. But 35-13, Ohio State. Yeah, go Bucks, OH, and what a season. What a season. And then we'll also do a recap show later. So, but that's going to be it. Go Bucks.